Just draw your comic. Now, if anyone ever has any doubts in making a comic, I think you should just do it. You're gonna make a lot of mistakes, but that's okay. We all make a lot of mistakes when we do things for the first time. Just do it. But don't expect many people to read your comic. The more you do draw and put out your work, though, the more people will look at your comic and you might find someone one day who actually likes it. If it happens that somehow absolutely no one likes your comic, then you still got good feedback that what you're drawing, maybe you need to improve a few more things, sharpen your art skills, or change up the story to make it more appealing. And if you don't want to do that and make your own stuff, that's fine too. I'm sure you can find someone out there. There's more than a billion people out there. I'm sure you'll find someone who will enjoy your work. Of course, we shouldn't seek validation from other people to enjoy drawing. And the thing about external validation is that it's not guaranteed. So don't base off all your happiness on external validation. And you should be enjoying your comic and enjoying drawing, whether people are reading it or not. Of course, we all wish people to read our stuff. That's very normal. The more people who like your stuff, the more you're able to monetize it, the less lonely you'll feel. And you can argue you'll get more joy feeling that so many people love your work. But if that doesn't happen, that should be okay too. And you should just be happy, or at least content with what you get. You can't control what happens outside. You can try to adjust your circumstances, and sometimes it'll work, but sometimes it won't work either. So you put your work out there, and whatever happens, be proud of it. For me, I have a small comic. I don't think it's small. The readership is small, but I've drawn many episodes already for many years, and although not that many people are reading it, I'm quite happy with my comic, and I'm very proud of what I've done. Throughout the 3.5 years since I started drawing, my art has improved tremendously, and I would say my art isn't the best out there. Okay, some people told me not to self-deprecate, share your best self, but objectively speaking, my art isn't the top of the game. If you scroll through Instagram, you'll see tremendously beautiful, absolutely gorgeous art, and I don't think my skills are there yet, but I'm getting closer to there step by step. And that would have never happened if I never sat down and drew every day for 3 years. And in the beginning, my art skills were not there at all. But over time, you just practice and practice, and your hand starts remembering the motions, begins to draw faster. You begin to draw faster, more smoothly. And when you experiment and draw a lot, you discover what works, what looks better, and what looks more pleasing to you and to other people. But that would never happen if you didn't draw that comic and continue consistently drawing it. I also improved a lot in storytelling. My strength has always been storytelling, more than the art. And I've had readers tell me from the get-go that the plot and character development in my story is very well done. So I've always had strength in writing than in drawing. But both have improved now. My writing has also become more tight, more clear and concise. And you gotta have it that way to keep people's attention. And the humor has also improved. In the beginning, I didn't know how to write something funny, but because I worked on it every day and I started drawing things like cabbages and sometimes draw my characters doing goofy stuff. And as you draw, your readers will give you feedback. They'll say, haha, that's funny, haha, I like that cabbage. And so from there, you get the feedback, and slowly I got better with the humor. Now, if you don't have much support in your real life for your comic, let's say you've been drawing for a while, or you have this idea you want to draw, and you tell people you're going to make a comic and no one seems very excited for you, I think you should still draw that comic. Some people may not think your art's very good. Maybe that's true, and maybe that's not. But your art will improve if you draw that comic. So you might as well start drawing. Now, comics can be somewhat niche, or I should say, everyone has their own interests. I'm not into sports. Tons of people are into sports. And they can say all they want about their sport or how well they play, but I just won't be able to understand. And that's okay. And same if in your life you're surrounded by people who just don't get comics or don't really get why you want to draw comics. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with you, and there's nothing wrong with them. You just have different interests. So the good thing about putting your comic online is that the audience is humongous there, and you can potentially reach so many people, not just to people in your close proximity. And I'm one of those people. I don't have anyone in my life who's really read my comic or is interested in my comic. Well, besides my 2 little kids. My comic is more of a teenager, young adult story, and they're still in elementary school, so I don't let them read my work. But they've seen some of my drawings, and they're really sweet. They really enjoy what I draw. And even 3 years ago, they would tell me, "Oh, Mom, your art is so beautiful," and I'm like, they're so sweet. They don't know any better. Anyway, so besides my 2 adorable children, no one else seems to really care about my comic. And my point is, sometimes there will be nobody interested in your work in real life, but if you put it online, you will find some people who appreciate your work. I know sometimes putting your stuff online can be scary because people sometimes say unfiltered thoughts more online than in real life, and they can be quite brutal. But so far, at least for me, the majority of people who leave comments are incredibly nice. And I want to share with you guys a story. So in my first year, I started publishing my comic, and I only got maybe 1 or 2 subs per week. Pretty low numbers. And I think it's pretty normal for many beginner artists because your art isn't very polished, your storytelling isn't polished, and there's a lot of stuff going on to make comics, speech bubbles, formatting, and all that. But anyway, I was getting low subs, and around the half-year mark, I finally got maybe 99 subs, and I was like, yes, almost there. And I was wondering if I should celebrate when I got 100 subs, because I'd seen in other comics or webtoons when creators met a certain subscriber milestone, they would put a note in their comic saying, yay, to their readers, yay, I got 100 subs, thank you all. So I was thinking maybe when I got 100 subs, I'd draw a trophy. And when I finally got that 100th sub, I was like, okay, I'm gonna start drawing a trophy. And then a few minutes later, I checked again, and the sub went down to 99. And at that time, something snapped in me, and I thought, okay, people just don't like my stuff. And so I'm not gonna post my comic here anymore. So I stopped posting. I had about 20 chapters, so I don't know, maybe 50 episodes already posted. But then I stopped and I gave up. I didn't give up drawing the comic. I was still drawing by myself because I like my story. But I figured if the world didn't like my comic, fine. I don't need to post at all. I'll just do my thing. I'm just gonna draw, and it'll be my secret project. So for 2 or 3 months, as I was working on my stuff, not posting, doing my own thing, but then there was a reader who reached out to me on Instagram. I made an Instagram account a long time ago, and then I forgot about it. And one day I remembered I had one, so I went to check. And when I looked, I saw a reader actually left a really nice message asking me if I was okay and when was I going to start uploading episodes again. They said they really liked my story. And that was really touching. That really moved me. I never expected anyone to reach out to me like that. I was just blown away that someone liked my comic enough to reach out. I don't know if they really liked my story or art. I leave author notes in my episodes, so maybe they just liked my personality. I don't know, but whatever it was, they cared enough to ask about my well-being, and they also wrote, "Hey, there are some other readers in the comments section asking where you're at." So I checked back at the latest episode's comment section. There really was another reader asking where I went. And so because of these two people who commented, I returned. And I've been posting my comic episodes ever since. So yeah, no one cared about my work in real life, but someone cared online. And it's a really incredible feeling. So I think it's worth it to post your comic. You never know, but someone may like your work. There's also some readers who've been following me for a really long time now. Even before this comic, I'm currently working on a comic called After Prom / my hot fake prom king boyfriend. But before After Prom, I had made another one-shot, a very short webtoon with simplistic, minimalist art. And there was still one reader who followed me since then. And when I published After Prom, they just kept reading. Sometimes left comments even now. I think it's been since 2018, so that was 7 years ago. And this person's still reading my stuff 7 years later. So I think it's totally worth it to post your stuff online. Don't be afraid. If you start publishing and you have very few readers, that doesn't mean it's zero. I know the numbers seem pretty small sometimes. 30 subs, 80 subs. And you see other comics getting thousands and thousands of subs. But, behind every sub is a reader and an actual person in this world with their own thoughts and their own dreams and desires, strengths and weaknesses. They got all sorts of stuff going on in their life, but they took the time to read your comic. Sometimes they press the sub button, sometimes they don't. But they clicked on your stuff, and some of them enjoyed enough to keep reading. And they're out there. And it's very touching to find someone who likes your stuff. At least for me it is. So I encourage you all to try. Even if you fail, I don't think you'll get 0 readers. But if you failed, at least you tried. And you can always change your course. Draw a different comic. Switch up parts of your comic a bit. Maybe you decide you don't want to draw comics anymore, and that's fine too. You've made an important decision in your life. And, these are all better than just giving up and never trying. So yeah, that's what I wanted to ramble about today. In the future, I'm thinking of making a sort of small webtoon creator diary to, 1, promote my comic, After Prom, my hot fake prom king boyfriend. 2, practice saying my thoughts, practice speaking, because I do have a problem doing these things, so I think it's good practice. And 3, I think if someone listens to this, that they'll understand what's going on in the mind of a small comic artist and storyteller. So that's it for today. Draw and post your comic. Thank you all so much for listening, and have a nice day.